Welcome to Get Virtual, another show for you here with Getaway Reno Tahoe. Todd, why don't you give us a quick little highlight of all the things that we're kind of exploring and doing and eating?
You know, this is an amazing show because, Carson City, me and you had the opportunity to be to both these places. In fact, I think the last time we actually ate dinner together, which has been a while because we've been separated, was at our first guest. And we both were absolutely blown away by the story from our second guest. So hopefully people stay on and get to see all the stuff going on with both Manja Tuto and the Stewart Indian School. Amazing show. I'm really looking forward to this one.
A lot of new discoveries that we have on today's show, hence obviously the title of the show, New Nevada Discoveries. So on that note, I think we should introduce our first guest. It is the owner and executive director, Richard Bragel, joining us today. Thank you so much. How are you doing over there in Carson City?
We're doing good.
Families and everyone.
Everything's going pretty good, Megan. Obviously, it's been trying in the last few months, but the support here in the neighborhood's been terrific. Our longtime guests, we've found a lot of new guests. I think people have been hibernating at home and out searching and finding new things. And with help like your magazine and other things that were published in it, it's been helping, and people have reached out and found us. And so far, everything's going as well as it can go.
Now, before we started the show, we have a little bit of a talk, and sort of things like that. You told me, and I did not know this, the name Manja Tuto means eat everything. Is that right?
Yeah, it translates into Italian as to eat everything. So, growing up in Chicago, everybody knows manja. It's eat. The Italian grandmothers put the meals on the table. Especially on a Sunday, they spend all day with the family preparing these meals, and that's what Sundays are about. It's about eating all day long. So, that kind of sticks in the background of growing up where we did, and Manja Tutto just seemed to kind of bring it all together for us. So.
You're feeding everyone and everything at the same time. So why don't you give us a quick highlight on kind of some of your specialties, because you make a lot of things in-house and you really kind of bring that family flavor to your restaurant.
Well, thanks. Yes, all the recipes are our original recipes. Everything is made in-house. All our sauces, everything down to the Italian sausage that we use. That's a recipe I have, and I've developed in Reno. Ponderosa Meats actually makes it for us. So they're our blend master or spice master, and they bring that to us fresh every week. And it's part of the profile across the menu. We use it in a lot of dishes, and it is a little bit different. But all the sauces, like I said, are made in-house. All our dressings are made in-house. Everything's made from scratch. So if you come in for dinner, you're going to wait a little bit for your meal, 15, 20 minutes, nothing too outrageous. And that's why it's quality, and we're not reheating food. Everything is made from the time it's ordered. So the menu is based on a authentic Italian restaurant. So a lot of basics, chicken Parmesan, one of our biggest sellers, house-made lasagna, very big. I do feature Chicago-style pizzas. So whether you're familiar with them or not, or have heard about them, come on in and try. The traditional thin crust, which is a tavern pizza, which is in every neighborhood in Chicago. And then there's the perceived pizza of Chicago, the deep dish, which for us was always a special occasion and always a treat. But if we ate it once or twice a year, that would be about it. But it's available for you here, and we've authenticated, and you're getting the real deal.
It's definitely a real deal. And I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up near, right on the Indiana border in Ohio. So, Chicago's where we went a lot. And I remember I went down there, and I've always kind of, you hanker for that Chicago style pizza. And I came down there, and I remember I ordered 3 because I knew I was only going to eat part, but I took them home. And the great thing about Chicago style pizza is they stay in your fridge, and they're just excellent for like the next 4 or 5 days. I find I just love eating the leftovers, and it was amazing. It held just like a normal Chicago pizza.
I think you actually ordered like 2 more pizzas to go, so then you could have the leftovers.
Of course I did.
He's not denying anything. I don't hear him denying anything. But and again, that's the stuff that's what makes it fun. I mean, the point of putting the restaurant here in Carson City where it is at is for it to be a neighborhood neighborhood restaurant. Yeah, if you're walking through town, if you happen to be driving through town, we're halfway between Tahoe and Reno. So when you're vacationing up in Tahoe, you leave early because of weather or whatnot. You want to get down the mountain, and you're always ahead of schedule. Come on in and eat dinner. That's what we're here for. So that's kind of that's the reason we've partnered up with you, and it's been great.
Now tell us a little bit about the experience going to your restaurant, right? Because of course you have the food, amazing, but you also have some other things going on.
Well, we do, and right now, especially with the social distancing and little issues in the restaurant, and we have taken out about 6 or 7 tables. There's a lot of elbow room in there. Obviously, it's kind of depleted our seating, but fortunately, this time of year we have an outdoor patio which we utilize. Plenty of seating out there, plenty of room, and on Thursday nights we actually have a live music outside. Brian Lester and Buster Chops is the band that he brings with, and it's kind of like an open mic for professionals. So within their circle, they'll invite people over, and some afternoons or evenings rather on Thursday, we'll get 6, 7, 8 musicians up there. Not so much right now with the COVID. They're kind of keeping it tight. There's 3 or 4 of the core group, and 1 or 2 might get up through the course of the night. But it's a lot of fun. Very recognizable people. Brian and his crew and everybody in his band, they've all worked and lived here in Carson for the last 10, 15 years, so they're very well known. It's a fun night.
So now, hours when you open, when should people try to be there? Do they need reservations? And then I'm assuming you have to-goes, pickups, deliveries, all that, maybe?
We do. We use Grubhub. You can go onto our website, mangiatutopizzeria.com. You can order right online. You can pay online. If you prefer to do a curbside pickup, not a problem. We'll take care of that. Dining room is definitely open, limited. So yes, reservations are great, especially getting into your Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Again, that part of the protocol is they want us to have reservations. And if you walk up and something's available, we'll gladly seat you. If not, we'll put your name on a list, take a phone number, and ask you to kind of wander around and enjoy downtown Carson. We'll give you a call and have you come on back over. As far as hours, we're open Monday through Saturday for lunch and dinner. Sundays we're open dinner only, so 4 o'clock till 8. But we're here and staying open. And again, fortunately, the community's been a great support. It helped us along the way, and we still have our head above water.
That's fantastic. Hey, I have a question for you, Richard. How old were you when you made your first pizza?
Oh, wow. Probably 8.
That's a good pizza right there.
Thank you. But,
that's awesome.
It's yes, Todd.
I was gonna say no. I'm 8 years old. Did you make a deep dish or a thin dish?
Those were thin crust pizzas back then.
Thin crust, right?
Crust,
okay.
He could only lift so much dough.
Now, speaking of the community in Carson City and stuff like that, our next guest is actually from the Stewart Indian School, just down the road from you. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to tour there yet, Richard.
I haven't toured there yet. I have been on the grounds before, and there's just so much history and culture, and very interested in learning about it, and was really glad to hear about the renovations or the ongoing community involvement over there. It's really great to see.
No worries. So Stacy Montooth, she's the executive director of the Nevada Indian Commission, and also you're based out of the Stewart Indian School. Me and Megan had an opportunity to be there. I don't know, have you ever been to Mangiatuto yet?
I have not. Now I'm
putting you both on the spot, aren't I?
Yeah. But here's my excuse. I'm very new to Carson. I just moved down here in September, but I have been thinking during this interview, how can I have our next Indian Commission meeting at your place?
How many people is it?
Well, with COVID, it would probably be a pretty intimate group. 10?
We can accommodate. We'll accommodate you, no problem.
That sounds great. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Richard, one more time, contact information if you want to find out more about Mangiatuto and all that sort of stuff.
Telephone number 775-461-3353. Website, mangiatutopizzeria.com. You can find us on Grubhub, DoorDash, Google us, you'll find us. We're there.
Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, I'm assuming as well.
Facebook, Instagram, all the above.
All right.
Getaway magazine.
That's right. Get virtual right now.
Get virtual.
Thanks, Richard. Love talking to you. I'll be down there to get some food for sure. I'll get myself like 4 or 5 pizzas and freeze one for later on.
We won't let Megan know. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
All right,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye.
Truly. Well, it's wonderful to have you join us as well, Stacy. You know, I think when we were visiting the Stewart Indian School, it's so interesting to see how the conversation has progressed and changed. Now here we are, Stewart Indian School is actually open, up and running. Before it was just, you were in the process. So why don't you give us some quick highlights on what that looked like and that transition to now?
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. I am with Get Virtual from the beautiful historic Stewart Indian School campus. So we're on the south edge of Carson City, specifically 5366 Schneider, and almost anyone who grew up in this area certainly has driven by the campus. We have these very distinct stone buildings. And Megan, as you mentioned, long history. This campus was actually built by the federal government in 1890. And the intent of the Stewart Indian School, it was a boarding school specifically for American Indians. And at that time, the plan was to assimilate forcefully Native American students, and sometimes this was as young as 4 years old all the way through 15, 16-year-olds. So it's a dark history. It's very complicated, but I'm sure you all know the social conscience of not just America, but our entire world is really changing. It's expanding, and for not just folks in Carson City, but for all Nevadans, this cultural center that we just opened, it was restored. It was a building that initially housed the administration office, and it was built in 1920, I believe 1923. It has been restored, and now we have permanent exhibits. We have a reading room. We have a gallery. It is not just a tribute to our alumni, but it is a reflection of the ongoing legacy of Native Americans.
Now, that's interesting because I remember when we were there, you were getting ready to open this entire exhibit area that you had. You were telling us before, you did get it open just because you had a soft opening. But
Yes.
The grand opening was in May. That probably didn't happen. But you had a lot of visitors just in the short time you were open, didn't you?
We absolutely did. So pre-COVID, we had a soft opening on January 13th. And in just the 60 days prior to March 15th, when our entire state shut down, we had almost 1,000 visitors, and we were only operating Monday through Friday. So that to date, it's been very well received. In addition to the nearly 1,000 folks that we accommodated, we had over 200 additional guests who had planned to come to our campus. And unfortunately, again, COVID made us reschedule those visits, and that included student groups. We had some professional organizations, just different interested people who wanted to learn about the history.
And maybe expand a little bit on that interest. I think you brought up such a poignant point right now, that this country and world is going through such a transition with wanting to know more about cultures and history that makes up especially America and the United States. And so to be able to be in a position, right, to showcase this is a part of the Nevadan culture, right? This is maybe a part of history that we definitely need to know more about as a society, as a population. It's really exciting. So maybe kind of give a little bit of insight on that and maybe some plans to come.
Okay, thank you for that opportunity, Megan. It was a thrill to have both of you come out to our campus this fall. And I probably should warn you, I am not objective. As a citizen of the Walker River Paiute Nation, my grandmother attended Stewart. She was actually taken in 2020. We'd say she was kidnapped. She was brought to the Stewart Indian School from her family at the Walker River Paiute Nation. I have another auntie that attended school in the late 60s, as well as an uncle who worked here. And so the school has gone through this. It had a 90-year operational history, and there's really been a huge change. I mentioned in my family's case, my elders were brought here forcibly, but yet when the school was closed by the federal government in the mid-80s, there was actually a waiting list. The school had become so grounded in its culture and become so progressive that there were students who were actually turned away. So again, a very complicated history. And again, I'm biased, but I really believe if civic-minded citizens come to the campus to visit our restored building, they can spend anywhere from 45 minutes to honestly half a day exploring the cultural center. As you both know, we have an outdoor walking tour. If you have a cell phone, there are various stops throughout the campus. We have over 60 stone buildings here, and there are still other Nevada agencies that operate out here, but we have multiple ways for any interested citizen, community member, educator, elected official, anyone who's interested in learning more. And from the Nevada Indian Commission stance, that history is so unique and it's so important to have the firsthand account. We truly believe that if people are able to understand what actually happened, that it would grow empathy and people would understand a little bit more about the quality of life for our Native Americans today.
And I think one thing that's really important about this is, you guys are in the process of preserving this history before it's lost in time. You've got a lot of alumni that are still around that can talk about this. Maybe not the original aspect as you're talking, but you can still bring a lot of that history around and before it disappears completely. Now, one other thing I want to kind of bring up, I know that obviously here in Nevada, state budgets have been hit across the board. We know that everyone's doing that, and every museum and area like that is struggling to survive in some ways. Now, you were saying you guys have been lucky and had a couple really generous donations that have helped you kind of sort through this. Maybe you want to give a quick shout out to some of those people if you want.
I can't. Yeah, I can't wait. Yet again, thank you, Get Virtual. Megan hit the nail on the head. These were angel donations. As we started our cultural center, we have a museum director who's very versed in this kind of project. It's not the first time she started a cultural center from the ground up. And so immediately she started writing grants. Our timing was such that just a week before the fiscal year started, the Nevada Indian Commission was on the receiving end of a WESTAF grant, and that is funded by the National Endowments of the Arts. So we were thrilled to get that. It was competitive and it was a little bit of work. However, just days after that, another angel donation, we had a local family who donated, and I'm going to say they donated $50,000, which, that's nearly a quarter of the budget we operate on. So they donated this huge sum of money because they had ties to the school as well. They have a former relative who was the principal here at the Stewart Indian School. And so we were so thrilled. In addition, that same family, a woman named Martha Burke, she was an English teacher out here. And so her relatives made this amazingly generous donation. And I know you all know about our friends at the Nevada Arts Council. You know, they do such good work, not just in the Carson City area, but all over the state. And they too have awarded the Nevada Indian Commission with a grant. So the museum, the cultural center, the walking tour, it's all free, but we are happy to take donations and, you know, continue with the mission that was formed by our alumni to share their firsthand account of exactly what happened.
That's absolutely wonderful and so well deserved too. And this is so exciting right now to be able to hear that story and how it's transitioned into what it is now, as well as the support. How do we actually go and enjoy the exhibition and the auto tour? Where do we go in terms of more information?
Perfect. Good question. So the Nevada Indian Commission website, nevadaindiancommission.org, or you can, .com, C-O-M, or you can go to the Stewart Indian School website, and that again, Stewart Indian School, and that is .org. The campus is open to the public from dusk to dawn. If you choose to use the walking tour, and I gotta tell you, the campus is absolutely extraordinarily beautiful. It is so green. You know, the sky is beautiful. The nature out here is just tremendous. You don't have to wear a mask as long as you have a small group. So you can go at your own pace. But again, if you'd like to see the renovated building, we are open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5. You're always welcome to call the Nevada Indian Commission. If you're a little old-fashioned like me, the number here is 775-687-8333. And then we have a Facebook page, the Nevada Indian Commission. So we can message you, or you can shoot us a comment there, and we'll get right back to you.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Stacy. We appreciate it. And like I said, I mean, I'd driven by there a couple times and always wondered, what is that? And the chance I had to go out there and actually tour and listen to you talk about it was amazing. And, you know, I know that I'll be taking my family back out there and walking around for many years to come, because it is such an amazing spot.
Again, I can't thank Getaway Reno Tahoe enough. This whole idea, your Get Virtual shows, absolutely fantastic. We need to be connected, all of us, during this time. So thank you for your good work, and I can't wait till you guys get to come back out again. Thank you so much.
And enjoy your meal over at Manjatuto.
Yeah, we'll do some, you know, selfies and send them to our friends at Getaway Reno Tahoe.
I like it. All right.
Thank you.
Right. Oh, okay. Great show.
New Nevada discoveries, Todd. There you go, right there.
You know, and those were kind of two new discoveries for us. You know, when we were down there, we went to the Indian School, and I think we did it on the same trip, and which was quite neat that we have them together on the show. So both amazing restaurant, a great thing to do. Looking for something to do, make sure you check it out. Also, check out our other shows. If you have any great ideas, things you want to talk about, you want to be a guest, you want to sponsor, you can reach out to us at Reno Tahoe at planmygetaway.com, a hashtag or subject line, Get Virtual. Share, like, all the above with the show. Am I forgetting anything, Megan?
No, Todd, you have a solid lineup right there. I will say just another big thank you to our show sponsors, yeah. Richard with Manjatuto. We really appreciate it. And of course, as Stacy had said, we all need to stay connected. So this platform has really been an incredible tool to be able to showcase some of these resilient stories and allow for us to really cover some of those staycations within the region, right? Within Reno, Tahoe, Carson Valley, Carson City. There are so many incredible things to explore. So explore your own backyard, and thanks for watching Get Virtual.